G'day everybody, it's Trader Cobb here. Hope you're all really well. Don't forget to go and get your free subscription service at tradercobb.com. That's C-O-B-B. So guys, Alex has asked me to come in and do another more or less a top 10 analysis for you guys. It's not quite the top 10. It's a bit of a mix and match. We've cut out a couple that were in the top 10 just because they're not really on Alex's fundamental list, and I wanted to sort of just help out and give a bit of a technical view to some of Nugget's more long or medium to longer term plays on the market. So I'm going to start at Bitcoin, which is probably the best place to start really, and just take you through technically what I'm seeing. I mean, look, bottom line is 10,000's held, okay? So we needed to see 10,000 hold. We have so far. Does that mean we're going to, is this the bottom? No, not at all. Not yet. Not yet at all. We've got this high-low potential, okay? A bullish candle off 10,000. We've broken to the high. We've not really moved too far from there. We saw this bearish candle back into what I call the cradle zone, which is in and around this 10 and 20 period moving average, which is an area that I trade from. So it's pulled back into that cradle zone like it did back here, but you notice the move's actually a lot smaller. Last time it pulled back, we had a decent little move down. This time it pulled back, it was even smaller. And there's a potential higher low here. Now, what I need to see is if we're going to see momentum move back into the bulls, and if we can see it, the first test would be a break through the high of this candle, and that therefore we'd have a higher low and a very short-term higher high. But the big one's getting up through the high of this candle to create a very strong trend reversal on the daily there, and above 13,000. I am very bullish on Bitcoin. At the same time, I need a view on the weekly. The weekly time frame here, you can see a pull back in nicely back into this cradle zone. A candle posted right here. It's not that bullish. Well, sorry, it's rejecting the lows of the week. I'd like to see it actually close a little bit more bullish if we can by the time we start a new week, and a break to the high of that candle would be a bullish sign as well. And then, of course, if we saw a break, a break of that high would also be a break of, let's show it again on the daily, a break of this high here at this stage. So that would also be bullish. Right now though, Bitcoin just meandering along sideways a little bit. Again, the positives are we are starting to see a little bit more bullish sentiment. Each time the sellers come back, the buyers are coming back and sort of holding it around that 11.5 sort of area, and 10,000 has held. I'm not saying that I'm strongly bullish Bitcoin, because I'm not right now. I'm still very much a spectator on Bitcoin to see how it plays out, but that's how I'm reading Bitcoin there. On to Ethereum. We'll have a look at the daily here on Ethereum as well. We can see it's pulled back in. There's a higher low there, higher high. It's much more evident when we look at it on the 4-hour time frame. Let me just get rid of this line for a minute. You can see here's the higher low, here's the higher high. Moving averages fanning in the right direction. Convergence of indicators, and looking quite nice on that 4-hour as well. On the 2-hour, sort of pulling back into that cradle zone. There's a nice little trend starting to form. I'd like to see it sort of clear these highs and get a bit of a run, and then look for opportunities for cradle trades pulling back into that area. It does look quite good. I'll throw it up and have a very quick look on the weekly here as well. So the weekly, you can see it's pulled back into this level, bullish candle, looking a bit more bullish there than Bitcoin. Ripple, we've got to talk about Ripple. It's not doing a great deal, to be absolutely fair. Ripple against the dollar, it's just sort of grinding away sideways, a little bit down, a little bit sideways. It's not really too inspiring for me at the moment. The chart's just not giving good enough chart structure. When I'm teaching, when I'm trading, I always talk about optimal chart structure, which is clean, smooth flowing trends. We just don't have good enough trends right now on Ripple. On Bitcoin Cash, very similar actually. It's just sort of grinding away, holding on, seeing what's going to happen with Bitcoin more or less. It's very sideways. There's not a great deal going on, and it's certainly not something that I'm looking, or any of my, any of the group that I work with are looking for trading opportunities just yet. Litecoin, you'll notice one that Alex has been talking about for his long-term plays. Looking at Litecoin, it's kind of gone a bit under the radar. It's gone a bit quiet lately. Probably still a very good, according to Nugget, a very good longer term play. He still likes it very much, he has told me. And if we have a look here on the weekly, you can actually see now we've had a nice pullback back into this cradle zone again, one of the areas that I trade from quite frequently, that many of you will be aware that follow me on Twitter at Trader Cobb. You'll understand that I do actually use this area quite frequently for my trading. So it's pulled back in nicely, back into that equilibrium. Right now, however, just waiting for this daily to unfold. Very similar to Bitcoin. If we can break up through this high, we will look a lot more bullish. Long term looks good. Short term trading wise, not looking fantastic. Again, one of the ones that Nugget has spoke of is NEM, a great long term token. A lot of people really liking this. Of course, there was that news of hack and whatnot that came out throughout the week. Well, it's more or less bounced back from that. It didn't sell off too hard either, so it wasn't too much of a negative effect, just a little bit of a drop, and then it's recovered since. Again, it's not looking remarkably bullish at this stage on the daily. The weekly's pulled back into that zone again, in that cradle zone that I talk of, as have many. It'd be good to see the high of this candle broken to the upside. And why is that? This is an old level of resistance, and it'd be good to get through that. Would be the first test. But until we break up through the high of this candle here, a high of 1.29, then that's when I'll be very bullish, because we'll have a clear higher low and a clear higher high. On to NEO. NEO's held very well. It's consolidated throughout this. We did see it dip, but it's been one of the stronger ones in my view. And if you look here on the weekly, it's not pulled back as far. It has held its ground. It does look bullish, and a breakup through this high here would certainly have me looking to the upside for trading opportunities this week. Just keeping an eye out for anything like a Bitcoin breakout strategy that I work away with. Nothing there just yet, but the chart structure not too bad. EOS just crept into the top 10 here, and again EOS, you can see here we're not quite in an uptrend. We need to break up through here. Here's our higher low, potentially a break up through 15.75, which is the high of this candle, will then have us into a new uptrend and looking really nice there. The beginnings of a bit of a Bitcoin breakout trading setup. I've got the checklist there. It's not quite there yet. It's not quite good enough, but it is one I'm keeping an eye on. Now, the next three are definitely Nugget's three strong picks for long term. He's discussed them in very large detail across many of his videos. OMG, technically sideways, completely sideways. Not tradable right now for me. What will be tradable is if we can break up through this high to create a higher low and a higher high. That's what I'm really waiting for. On the weekly, we're back into this zone again, just patiently waiting for a trigger, waiting for that trend dominance to come back in, and hopefully this year waiting to see some institutional money start to pour in. Same with WTC or Walton. We can see a really strong chart structure, very awesome trend there. There's been some fantastic trading opportunities the last week or so. I'm talking about pullback Crypto Cradle 1, fit the rules, pullback Crypto Cradle 2, another great winning trade. So the cradles have been working really good on Walton. Again, a very strong performer. This is against Bitcoin here, and one to keep an eye on. Finally, ZRX. Not a great deal of data on the chart. However, we do have this higher low, and if we can break up through this high here, which is at $2.21, then we will be in an uptrend. And again, this is a good one for a long term that Alex wanted me to mention for you. One thing I also want to mention is don't forget that with Ripple, Alex did do a video around between $2.50 to $3. He was saying it looks a bit overextended, it looks a little bit dangerous, and quite rightly so. It has pulled back 64% since then. So again, all the more reasons to stay tuned in, sharing the content of Nugget and myself. Get on board, and let's see if we can't help you out. Guys, thanks very much for your time. Visit tradercobb.com, visit me on Twitter @tradercobb, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Thanks guys, bye for now.